Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
Do you like my hand gestures on that one?
Can I say no?
I'm just trying to get people's attention.
You did.
Tune in.
You got
We're
mine.
here.
You got my attention.
Another great episode. Another
Yes.
great day.
Yes.
A lot of real life happening.
I'm excited about this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes
I know,
two
like,
of us.
I know about this much of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But there's about this much I don't know where it's going to go, and
Yep.
that's fun.
Let's
that
roll
we get
with
to
it.
sit down and chit chat.
Well, what do you want to chat about today?
So recently, I had to do something that I feel is an old person thing.
You're going into a new phase of life now.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm like, I am a little bit of a, what's the word of when you're afraid of being sick of everything?
It's a phobia. It's a type of a phobia.
Yeah. I can't remember what the phobia is, but there's just certain times where I'm just like, oh, this hurts. Maybe it's this. This is this. Maybe it's this. And it's never any of those things.
So you went through that.
So I went through that. So I have a history of skin cancer in my family.
Yeah, your
You
grandpa.
do not, because you are Indian.
Yes, I am Indian,
No, he's
and
not.
you went there. So
Alert.
who knew that you were going to bring that up in this episode? Little Pocahontas over here. I've always been told my whole life that my great-great-great-grandma was Cherokee Choctaw Indian.
Which
So
Cherokee and Choctaw are two different tribes. So
part of
let's be
we were intermarried.
right. Well,
But-
can I pause here and say
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like we were married based on a lie.
Well, that's what I
Because
was
you
gonna
told me
say.
when we got married that
Our
you
whole
were
marriage,
Indian.
It's been, I got dark skin, dark hair, darker eyes. Well, it's just because it's the Indian coming out of me.
Right.
And so that's just been the whole story, and that's been.
And
what
I only married you because you were an Indian.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, right. And that's what I told my kids too. Like, hey, you've got Indian inside of
And
you.
our oldest
I know that
loves
you're
that.
blonde haired, blue eyes, but there's some Indian hanging out inside of you.
Right.
So what happened the other day? You
So,
pushed up against that.
I was just like, are you sure? Are you sure? So my family, like, we know we're a little more of the thoroughbred.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well,
Or at
you're
least
just
we like
more-
to
you're more-
boast about it a
You're
little
more pure in your.
Yes. Like I know
genes.
exactly what I am, supposedly. I mean, I think I know exactly what I am. Jared, on the other hand, he's like, I don't know. I'm like this. So anyway, he was on a phone conversation with his grandma.
No, what happened was it was at dinner table and you pushed back on it again. Our whole marriage, she's like, give me proof. I'm
Choctaw.
like,
I always
yeah.
joke, I'm like, you're a Choctaw. I just really like to say the word Choctaw.
Yeah. I mean, I have Indian skills. So it's like, of course I've got Indian in me because I can
What
make
are your Indian
I
skills?
can make a fire.
There's other
I can fish.
people groups that can
I
make-
can ride a horse.
This is true.
See, those are Indian skills.
Jared grew up showing horses, had
Yes.
tassels and the whole
Yes,
nine
the
yards.
tassels.
We need to find those
So,
pictures.
how in the world did we even get into this?
I feel like we've gotten so far away from the thing. At dinner, I was
Anyways.
pushing back about you being an Indian.
Yeah, and so I said, I'm going to shut this thing down because we're 14 years into marriage and she is still pushing back on this. So I called my grandma the next day on the way into work.
You did.
And I said, Grandma Wooten, my wife is pushing back on the idea that I don't have any Indian inside of me. And I said, I want you to tell me the truth, where it came from, so I can shut this thing down. And she goes, well, Jared, you don't have any Indian in you at all.
You don't.
I was like, what? Are you serious? She goes, yeah. So one of our relatives just got their DNA tested, and there is 0 Indian in there. And
So
it's
we were
all-
married based on a lie.
Yeah. Will you still take me?
Yes.
Okay. So we're all English and Scottish.
Plot twist.
So plot twist indeed.
We never knew about the Scottish. Now we need to get you a
So
kilt
I need
and
a kilt.
bagpipes.
I need the things. And so
Scottish is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah. So I don't have
Yes.
a ton of red on me, but like as far
I don't
as
think
like,
you have
know,
to have red hair to
like,
be Scottish.
yeah,
But
so yeah, you married a lie. Is
I
it
did.
okay if you still accept me as an English Scottish
absolutely.
bloke?
I'm
a bloke.
Yes, I'm committed.
I'm no longer a Cherokee.
I'll take you
Choctaw.
however you are. So
So how did that even come
I
up?
know. I've got
anyways?
it right here.
Okay.
So my family has a history of skin cancer just because we're more of the fair skinned.
And I thought my Indian covered me.
Correct.
Because
So I had some spots on me and I was just like, I should probably go get them checked out. And I got them checked out. Everything's fine.
all clear.
Yeah. She was just like, you're fine. You are over the top, like anxious about things.
Oh, yeah.
No, she didn't say that to me. But basically, there was nothing wrong with what I was going there for.
Which is great. Thanks the Lord.
That's obviously what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But just going to a doctor to just check out spots, it just makes you feel old. Like when I was in the waiting room, like everybody else there was really old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? And then...
But you got to do that stuff.
You do. You have to take care of yourself.
Protect yourself and be safe.
Right.
Prevention.
I would rather better be safe than sorry.
An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Did you make it up?
No.
Okay. So then she gave me this pamphlet and she's like, these are the type of spots that you would be looking for. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, these are all over my husband's back. So I came home with the pamphlet and I'm like,
beloved Indian marks.
Right.
Man.
The constellations all over your back. So I came home with this pamphlet and I'm like, Jared, these are on you.
These are my beauty marks. You know what I mean?
Like,
I didn't say
I didn't say I didn't like them.
I have grown accustomed to them. It's part of my identity.
So now I'm pushing Jared to go get his spots checked like an old person. We're just growing old together, taking care of our spots.
Yeah, I know.
All of our little spots.
People are like, I have to tune in to see what they look like. Do they have just spots all over the place?
Yeah, maybe our thumbnail for next podcast will just be close-up pictures of your
old people spots.
All your moles.
Yeah. You know what I'm really not looking forward to? Because don't they say that all men at the age of 40 need to get their prostate checked?
Yeah, and I think all women have to start getting mammograms around 40. I don't know.
I'm going to do some research on that.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, if that's the case, I am not.
We're creeping into the elder years.
I'm not looking
How
forward
old do
to
you
that.
actually feel?
I think I'm 25.
Okay. Well, then I feel 23. Because I will always be younger than you. I probably feel like I'm like 29, 30. That's how old I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, age is just a number, right?
Except it's not.
Yeah.
Age is pretty set.
Age is whatever you make for it to be.
Or it's not. Age is what you are. I mean, you've been here a certain amount of time. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you don't have to act your age.
Correct. I agree with that.
A lot of people don't. Whether that's in a good way or a bad way.
Right. And for me, there's days that I act older than I am. There's days that I act much younger. Mm-hmm. And then there's days that I'm my age. All the things. Yeah. Okay.
Which is crazy, by the way, back to that Indian thing, because I have a first cousin who's just like black hair, super duper duper dark, olive skin.
But he also has a mother that's not related to you. So
she's like super duper fair. I don't know. My cousins know who they are. They're going to have to report. The Indian debate is still going.
Jared still thinks he's Choctaw.
I hope it's in there some, because I have Indian skills. I already told you. I catch fish with my bare hands.
Speaking of skills that have to do with Indians, I feel like people are going to just be kind of rolling their eyes at, is this politically correct what we're doing? Do we care?
Yes, because if I've got Indian in me, yes. Why can I not be excited about where I'm come from?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So what are your skills?
What are my skills?
Yeah, you're talking about Indian
skills.
Oh,
no, I was talking about how we made a garden.
That's a skill that you have.
No, that's something that I'm attempting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
She's not there yet.
So we just planted a garden yesterday, and I have really wanted to do a garden and make like a garden really good. Mm-hmm. I have watched, there's this one girl on YouTube that I've watched, and she's just like, let's go pick the garden. And it's like a short.
It just makes it look
and she's got like this really cool basket, and she just goes out there and has all these different things. And it's 1 minute long, and you see all the things she harvested, and you almost are annoyed. Because we did a garden last year.
Why does that annoy you, Amy?
It annoys me because last year I did a garden, and like multiple times
nothing grew.
I think I got one cherry tomato.
You got a green pepper, didn't you?
And it was this big.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat that thing if I were you.
It was so tiny.
Did you eat it? Oh, you did.
I may have.
You cut it up and cooked it.
Put it in the eggs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't die. I made it. But I worked so hard on it last year, and I got like nothing. And here's this girl, and she's just like, let's go pick the garden. But here's the thing. It was annoying but also very intriguing and inspiring. And then I'm also having to pull myself out of it and like, yeah, she did a 1-minute clip, but girl has put so much
That
blood,
1 minute,
sweat, and tears.
That 1 minute clip equals probably what, like 2-3 years worth of total of work
yes.
and learning and growing and
she
making mistakes.
knows about gardening and she, you know what I mean? So it's like, why would I get annoyed at the fact that she has really worked hard to do this? So anyway, I think the annoyance was not at her. It was like the fact that I can't.
Why can't I do this?
And I don't even know if I was annoyed. I think it was just like, wow, look at her harvest and
her.
Look at mine.
Yeah,
my one tomato. Anyway,
you didn't measure up.
I did not. So this year we just planted a garden yesterday.
Yeah,
we planted
round two.
We did the seed. We started from seeds, and it actually turned out really good.
They came up.
And so you tilled the garden.
We tilled it,
and you were tilling the garden.
Yeah, it was nice.
And I was picking all the weeds out, and it looks like really good right now.
For now.
But I've heard when you plant a garden, like, because our land is kind of, what's the word?
Clay. Hard soil. But also our land we haven't done anything with our land in a while. Nothing has really grown on it. It just used to be cow farm before we were here.
So I've heard like second year is not even good. Third year is better.
I've heard it takes, if you're going to plant a garden, it takes, from what we've heard, since last year was horrible. What we've heard to help us feel better about ourselves is it takes about 3 years. Now, there's somebody who's listening who's like, oh, no, my first garden ever was perfect. So, which is awesome. We're happy for you.
And then if that's you, please come help me.
Yes.
Please come help me.
Yes.
Because it's like you put all this work into it and then you're out there sweating, hoeing the garden, pulling weeds. Like I had to get down on my hands and knees the other day because I was like lightheaded.
Yeah.
Because I was like leaning over and it was hot. Anyway.
I was out there grounding, by the way.
He was grounding. He was barefoot.
Shoes off, barefoot.
Yeah.
Palms, sitting down, palms on the ground, just getting those electrons.
Wow.
It was just really good.
We sound super crunchy, and we're not, though. But we sound it. So that counts for something.
We're like, remember when we were vegans? We were called like vaguely vegans.
Yeah.
So we're something crunchy. We're like, just a little bit crunchy, but
al dente.
I want a little dessert too.
We're al dente.
yes. Seriously.
Just a little bit of tooth to it, but not a ton of crunch. Anyway, so the garden we're doing the garden.
Yeah.
And I'm also now worried if it actually is good, which we don't know yet. We have a bunch of deer. Are they going to come destroy the whole thing? And is the whole thing for nothing? Yes. But I kind of wanted today to talk about how gardening and our life go into hand in hand. Did you see how we just did that?
Yeah, hand in hand.
No, but we just told you all about gardening, and now it's like, now let's apply.
Girl, you are your transitions today
are horrible.
Are like on point.
No, but I mean, I was in the garden yesterday, and I'm just like picking weeds, and it's just like this thought of there's so much about growth, and there's so much about gardening that can be related to scripture and be related to our spiritual life.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind, just bringing this up, is that verse that we teach our kids all the time. It's hanging above Redding's toilet.
His toilet.
His toilet. And it says, above all else, guard your heart. From out of it flows a wellspring of life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
like guard your heart more than anything else.
Your heart is the garden, is the soil. Guard it and protect it. Make sure the soil is rich and right, because out of that will grow something. All the things of life will grow out of that. So protect that.
Yeah.
And it's important what we put into our soil, right? And what we pull out of our soil.
Right. So earlier this year, Jared went over to his parents' house who have a horse. You've had horses. Your parents have had horses your whole life. They're down to one horse now.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jared just got a whole wheelbarrow full of horse poo-poo.
Yeah.
Poo-poo.
They say manure, but for the podcast, you can say the poo-poo.
The poo-poo.
Yeah.
And so he went and got a ton of poo-poo and just spread poo-poo all over our garden.
Oh, it sounds kind of productive, doesn't it?
Right. But I'm just like, that also is just part of life, because like we talked about last week, it's those hard times. I would really think that, I mean, poop's gross.
Yeah, it is gross.
So in the gardening, that can be like not fun, but it's that brings the nutrients and brings the
horse manure is so full of just, I mean, it's just
everything
rich.
Because
in
they just
all
eat
the good
grass
things.
and
Yes.
all day long.
So many nutrients are in there.
Right. So it's like we've been preparing our garden, but it's not just with good things like whatever good things are. But I mean, it's also the things that we would kind of turn our nose up at. It's like God uses the good stuff in our life. God uses the bad stuff in our life to really bring nutrients into our life so that we have fertile soil. It talks about in the Bible about the farmer who scattered the seed. And it's like, we want our lives to be that soil that is like ready to receive what God has to do, and then doesn't choke it out by the weeds, doesn't fall to the wayside, but just like our roots go deep down in Christ. And then we are producing fruit. That's the goal. That's the goal of our garden. Whether or not it's going to work, we'll stay tuned and we'll see. But our life, we need to be producing fruit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. When you've got, I mean, you just hit on this, but when we give kind of a correlation, when we give God our poo-poo, all the horrible things.
Zip-poo-poo.
You know what I mean? Like, but if we can keep it, and it can just be nasty and fester and grow.
Flies.
And just, flies. But if we just give it to God and let God, the master gardener, apply that in the soil and turn those ashes. Because, I mean, even think about this. Ashes is an amazing fertilizer for the soil as well. Farmers will actually burn a field to reset the soil pH and everything to cause something to be able to grow. So if we can literally give God our poo-poo, our ashes, and put it into his hands and let him grow something beautiful. We get that into the soil, and he just, I mean, it's like,
I know.
It's just all about surrender. It really is.
Yeah.
And then let him grow something beautiful. And then it's our job to come in and manage it. Like, we don't just let anything grow up inside of our garden. We've got to have boundaries. We've got to, there's a weed that doesn't really belong there. I'm convicted about this thing that kind of, I didn't mean to, but it just came. Like, we've got to tend the garden of our soil. But it's just, we've got to do those things.
And I know one of the things about gardening, and let me just say here, I'm actually not a fabulous gardener. I want to be. So I think I'm just clarifying that so that nobody's like.
She's good, by the way.
I'm not. I'm actually not.
You're a work in progress.
That I will take.
Yeah.
I'm taking that. I want to have a garden. But one of my least favorite parts, at least from last year, was I love when we till it up and we plant it because it's just like this perfect, like looking thing as in plot of land that's like just dark soil and it looks great. It's after, and once the summer comes and the heat comes and the weeds just start growing like crazy. And if you're not paying attention to it, they will get out of control. And then you've got this whole thing, you've got a weed and you're sweaty and all that. But I'm just saying, like, that's one of my least favorite parts of gardening. I also don't like when you don't get anything. That's also not fun. That was last year. But in life, like, it's not fun to go through our lives and be like, I'm struggling with this, or I need to get this out of my life or out of my heart, or I need to get this person out of my life because they're influencing me and impacting me in a negative way. Like, those things are not fun, but they're mandatory. 100%. Because if I don't go out to that garden and weed it, and if I'm not consistent, like if I don't go out there for another 2-3 weeks, and I just I'm like, I'm not even gonna look at it, I'm not gonna water it, I'm not gonna pick any weeds, like it's gonna get out of control. Same thing in our life. We've got to be super intentional and a daily intentionality of, okay, search my heart, God. What in me is not pleasing to you right now? And
we use that verse a lot
because
I think it's an amazing life verse.
It really is.
We've used that so much.
I know, because it's like, Holy Spirit, speak to my heart and show me, point something out. Is there anything that's offending you? And he might show you something that is offending you, and you don't necessarily like the idea of getting rid of it or getting rid of that person or whatever it may be. But if it's a weed, you got to get it out, because we all know this, but a weed will choke out all the nutrients and that plant will not produce the fruit that it's supposed to. And as believers, we're called to produce fruit. We're called to have purpose and have the fruit of the Spirit. How do we do that if everything's being choked out by the weeds?
Right.
So I think there's so much I mean, there's so many things in the Bible about gardening and growth, and Jesus is the vine and we are the branches.
Yep.
Remain and stay close to him.
Yeah.
There's so much about growth in the Bible having to do with gardening, but when you're actually doing it and you're picking out those weeds, you're just like, it's just cool to watch.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I think this year is going to be what do they call it?
A banner year.
A banner year. I think we're going to have such an overflow of crop because you've learned so much, and it's going to be a great, fruitful year. I'm hopeful.
I'm a realist. I feel like you're a little more optimistic than I am at times.
Someone has to be.
And I'm a little more realist / pessimist. I think I'm on the line of realism right now.
Well, my thing is, if that's how you feel, why even plant a garden in the first place?
Because I have hope.
So you have the same thing too.
Well,
You just keep it small.
Realistically, we should have hope.
Yeah.
I just don't want to have false hope. But again, I'm nervous. Like you said, guard your heart. That was one of your verses. So let's take it down to here. Guard your garden. The deer are going to eat my garden. How are we going to fix this? I'm asking you right now. How are we going to fix it?
I've heard cayenne pepper works really well.
I've heard.
You sprinkle the cayenne pepper all over the plants, and they don't want anything to do with it. That's what I've heard.
Okay.
And then you rinse the plants. You rinse the fruit off, and then you eat it.
I've also heard human hair. I've heard if you sprinkle human hair.
Okay.
So if anybody listening gets a haircut or works at a hair salon, please collect me like Kroger bags.
Or maybe not.
That's not weird.
Okay. That's not weird, she said. Okay. So there you go.
I'm just trying to think.
Give it to, not me, give it to Amy. That'll be perfect.
We go, I see one of y'all somewhere and you just hand me like a bag of hair.
Well, what happens now is we go to church and I don't know who, but random people bring empty egg cartons to you now because you get like what, 9 eggs a day?
So now I'm going to get egg cartons and hair. I'll take it.
Goodness.
Our whole garden is you're not going to have dirt. There's just going to be.
You're so crunchy.
Human hair. I am a crunchy.
You're so crunchy.
No. I want to figure out how to protect it because I don't necessarily want to put like a whole gate. Like I just don't want.
Are you wanting me to build a pond around this thing? Is that what you want me to do?
A moat?
Yeah. You want me to build a moat around this thing?
The deer will jump the moat.
With like a little drawbridge?
The deer will jump the moat. Our garden is not that big.
So wide to where they can't get into it.
Because then it'll flood. I mean, that's unrealistic in and of itself. Anyway, that's what we're doing right now. We just gardened,
So guard your heart.
Yes.
Guard
for
your
real.
Heart. There are so many things in this world that are vying for your attention.
Yes.
100%. On your phone, on the internet, on the TV. And what you have to look at is what is the goal of whatever has my attention right now? Is the goal to bring fruit, to bring me closer to the Lord, to bring richness and fullness in relationship?
Or even is that person the goal of all the things you just said?
Or is the goal of whatever I'm focusing on actually going to take me away from what God has me to? Is it going to distract me? Is it going to bring division in my marriage? Is it going to create discontentment in my life? Is it going to all these different things?
Yeah.
And so, make sure that you're weeding and protecting the soil of your heart.
Right.
It's springtime. It's that time of year. And every season of life has a purpose,
right.
And make sure we're protecting it.
Protecting it and also feeding our soil. So feed the soil of our life. Make sure we're asking God to pull out the things that could distract us or choke it out.
Yeah.
And then enjoy the fruit.
Yes.
Enjoy the fruit. Are you going to eat my tomatoes and cucumbers if they grow?
Absolutely not. Maybe a cucumber. Maybe if it's like seasoned just right and cooked on the grill.
Have you ever had, I know it's kind of a girly thing.
If you cut it up really small pieces.
Cooked on the grill? No, that's zucchini.
Yeah. If you cut it real small pieces into a salad, I'll eat it up.
Yes. You like cucumbers on like a rice bowl.
Just taking a raw tomato and just biting into it. And
I don't think most people do that.
Nah. Not me. I love salsa.
It's odd.
I love sun-dried tomatoes on a pizza.
Yep.
And I love ketchup. Other than that, nah.
Jared loves every tomato product. Like for real. You want extra marinara. You want extra salsa. You are a saucy man. You love all of that.
Yes.
You just don't like a tomato.
Yeah.
Which breaks my heart because there is nothing like a BLT.
I'll make you some BLTs, but I won't partake in that.
Do you remember when we were first married and I made BLTs and I was like, eat the sandwich? Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yeah. And I took it off.
You took one bite and you were like you had a really hard time and you didn't eat the rest. But
It
a
was gross.
BLT without the T is just not a thing.
It's really good.
No. It's that tomato in there.
I like a BLA. That's what I like.
Bacon, lettuce, avocado.
Yeah.
That's great too.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
A BLA girl. A ball.
I'd say that you probably have more things you don't like to eat than me. I think you're a little pickier.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't like olives. You don't like bananas. You don't like tomatoes. You don't like cucumbers.
I like what I like, all right?
You're like, back off.
I know. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, it's fine.
Oh, okay. I'll be done very soon. So Jared and I like watching Survivor. And on Survivor, or even any like survival kind of thing, if it's on an island, one of the things they eat is coconut. Like the flesh of a coconut.
So you did a thing.
And so I was ordering my stuff on Walmart and I saw that they had like coconut flesh cubes and there's like nothing else in it. It is literally like coconut. I guess I could have bought a coconut, but this was even easier.
We haven't had actual, like we're talking not the stuff that you put on top of a cake
No,
that's already been dried,
like literally
and
nothing in
and
it.
coated. We're talking about like straight up raw coconut. I don't know if that's a common thing.
I don't think it
have
is.
had.
I don't think. But we see them eating it all the time on Survivor. And so I was like,
You got jealous.
So I ordered it. And then I was like, we're going to watch Survivor. And right when they
We're
start
gonna
eating
pound some
coconut,
coconuts.
we're going to eat coconut.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing for me. I like to watch something.
Yes.
If they're eating it, I want to eat it.
Yeah.
It's like I get food jealous. And so we turned on Survivor.
And what happened? What
we
happened?
start eating the coconut. And
Tell
I was like,
them.
oh, it was so gross.
Yeah. And you can hear them by the end of the season. They're like, I am so tired
Sick
of
of
eating
this.
coconut.
Yes.
And you're thinking, how could that be bad?
I know,
It's
because
good
coconuts,
stuff.
I mean, everything with coconut to me is a wonderful
Yeah.
thing.
But now you know.
Now, it wasn't like I ate it and I wanted to throw up, but I ate it and I was like, I don't want any more of this. And it was a small bag. I don't really like wasting food.
We couldn't even finish the bag.
I
It
couldn't
was
finish
gross.
the bag because I was just
We're
like,
talking like a 2-ounce bag.
yes,
by
it
the
was
way.
very small.
Couldn't even finish it.
It was very small. But anyway, I just thought I was really excited about just like feeling immersed
I know.
in Survivor as I'm watching it in my bed,
Yeah.
not on an island.
Didn't happen.
But no, it did not happen.
She
But I
said-
tried.
She said, pass me those. What? I don't know.
I think we may have moved on to those Reese's things.
Okay.
It's like these Reese's animal
Of
crackers.
Of course.
Oh, they're so good.
We're vaguely crunchy, by the way.
We're vaguely crunchy.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting crunchier.
You are.
And I'm getting much wiser and all that stuff. But I'm still with moments of
Yeah.
frivolity.
Yeah. You're right.
So
All right. Well, we need to protect the soul of our heart.
we do.
And sometimes, we talked about this last time, you may not have the right tools on how to protect the soul of your heart. So a beautiful, amazing tool is obviously getting in God's word,
Yeah.
is spending time in God's presence, worshiping, learning to share your emotions like we talked about.
Surrounding
with
yourself
else.
with
Yes.
community that is going to
Yes.
lift you up
Do
and not tear you
isolate.
down.
Don't isolate. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, because when you isolate, you are believing the lie of the enemy. It could be multiple different lies. You're not good enough. If they knew, if they wouldn't want you,
Yeah.
nobody would,
Yep.
I mean, we could go on and on and on with
Yep.
all the lies. They're all lies.
And sometimes...
Because we all need community. We all need each other.
And sometimes we need good godly counsel as well, which
Yeah.
could be a counselor, which
Right.
could be a loved one, which could be your pastor. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
And get those tools that you need to tend to your garden, because
Right.
there's going to be a beautiful crop that's going to come from it.
For real.
And I'm believing this is going to be a good year for you. That garden is going to be off the chain.
Whoop, whoop. I'm excited.
Yep, me too.
I hope it works.
It's gonna.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a great rest of the day.
Yes.
And we
I'm
look
actually
forward-
going to go after this. I'm going to
tend it.
go
Go tend it,
look at
girl.
it.
Go-
There's nothing to tend because
Just
we
look at
just
it. Would you just look at it?
That's all I'm going to do
Just
is
go
just
look
look
at
at
it.
it because we planted it yesterday. So everything's good now. It's about to get crazy
Yeah.
soon. But I just want to go. Oh, no, I just bought 3 tomato plants.
You better go
I
plant
do have
those
to go
things.
plant those.
Put them in a cage.
Yeah, my nails are getting dirty because I have just been in the
it.
garden. But
It's good.
let me just say this. Oh my goodness.
Guys,
Hold on.
she has just got so many things to
So,
talk about
let me just say that
today.
this is the last thing, I promise.
Okay.
Okay. The other day, somebody was saying, who do we want to look to for advice, for helping us in our spiritual life. And one of our friends said somebody who has dirt under their nails spiritually, somebody who has like gone to battle, somebody who has been digging in their soil and digging out the weeds, and they've got some dirt under their nails. And that literally, that was like so impactful to me. Not that we want actual dirt under our nails. I need to work on that for me. But like spiritually, where we're not afraid to like pray and go to spiritual warfare and like.
So get somebody in your life.
Get somebody in your life that's like that, and also be that person that is intentional about, okay, I don't care if I get dirty. I don't care. I'm going to go to battle. And again, the battle belongs to Jesus. He's the one who wins the victory. Okay, I'll stop. But the nail thing, when he said that, I was just like, yes.
We've got to stop because she's getting fired up. So if we keep going, she's going to explode.
Yep,
so.
I am. Okay.
All right, guys.
All right.
Have fun tending your gardens.
All right, see you later.
See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.